Alright guys, so today's target species is nenue. Nenue, they're a silverfish, kind of stout, I guess, short, but they're tall. So they're a big target, and they're herbivores. They eat algae, stuff like that, things on the rocks and plants on the rocks. And they're, as far as in my experience, they're really easy to shoot because they're really curious. Usually to shoot nenue, all you have to do is dive down, get to the bottom, and just wait. Just wait for them to get used to you, and they'll come right in super close. Even when they're skittish, they won't come as close, but they'll still be in range. And they're just easy pickings, especially if they're in a big school. They're even braver, and then you can just pick which one you want. The big ones even will usually come close to you if you wait long enough. The trick is just having enough bottom time, but the thing about nenue is that they're usually the big ones will usually be in shallow water too. So if you find a school of them, even if it doesn't look like there's any big ones, chances are if there's a big school of them, there's some big ones in there somewhere. So you just gotta sit there, wait. You can grunt, you can dust. It all helps. Honestly, if you don't have to do anything, just wait. Stay in one place. Helps to get like a couple rocks in front of you. Just stay low, and eventually they'll come in. The better your hiding spot, the better your chances of shooting one of these fish. I'll show you what I mean in my dive clips coming up. So we're gonna hop in the water, shoot one of those, and then I'm gonna show you guys how to cook it, but it's not exactly cooking. We're gonna be making poke, and so poke is just like chunks of raw fish mixed in some seasoning. It doesn't sound really good, but it's really good. Nenue especially make pretty good poke. Not as good as like ahi or anything, not by a long shot, but it's pretty good for a reef fish. Their meat is more tender than other reef fish, so it has a nice texture when you're eating the poke. So that's today's cooking section. Even though it's not really cooking, it's just a way to prepare nenue that I really like. Because with nenue, I don't really know of any other way to cook them because they're herbivores. Herbivores tend to not taste as good when you fry them or anything like that. But if you prepare them poke style, it's really good. You're gonna want to shoot them all the time, and you can because there's so many of them and they're so easy to shoot. So I'll show you guys the dive clips real quick, talk about how I tend to hunt nenue, and then I'll teach you guys how to prepare them poke style. Alright guys, I'm in the water taking my first drop. I came to this spot because I know there's tons of nenue around. So I found a big school, and I'm dropping down right now. And like I said, you just gotta hide. Just hide. I get behind some rocks here, and already they start coming in real close. You can't really see them, the rocks blocking, but there we go. Now you can see they're everywhere. There's tons of them. And so I just get into this gap right here, and I'm looking, trying to pick the one I want, but the ones that I want aren't coming close. I guess they were a little spooked today. So I'm just watching, maybe they'll come in, but I don't think I shoot anything on this drop because none of the big ones that I want are coming in. So I just go back up to the surface, and I follow the school around. Usually if you can't shoot them on one drop, just keep dropping. Eventually one of them's gonna come in close and just pull the trigger. The only thing about these fish is that they don't move, they don't stay still for very long. So you have to shoot them as they're moving, but that's not too much of a problem because they're a big target. Alright, on this drop, real quick before the clip goes on, I dove down into a little cave thing, and I actually saw a really big papio swim through here, but he was real spooked, so I never got close. But when I looked to my right, I saw nenue swimming there was a gap between the rocks, and I saw a nenue swimming past. So I still had a lot of breath left, so I turned inside the rock, and I looked through this gap right here, as you can see, I'm poking my gun through this gap, and I'm like, oh, I realize I'm not recording, so I start recording late. That's why this clip starts late. Okay, anyway, this is a much better hiding spot because I'm completely covered. The nenue cannot see me at all because I'm underneath a rock, and then there's a rock above me blocking the top part of my body, and the rock below me blocking the bottom. They can only see my gun, and they're not afraid. So I'm just trying to pick the one I want. Now the big ones are coming in close, and I see one. You can't really see it on camera, but I pull the trigger. He pulls my gun through the hole, so I kind of get stuck there, but I get back up to the surface. He dives under a rock, that's why you can't see him right now, but if you look at my gun, he's pulling my gun underneath the rock. So I start trying to think, oh, how am I going to get my tagline out? How am I going to get my gun out? And so eventually I start to figure out what I'm going to do. So I go down, dive down for the fish. I find the rock that it went under, just dropped out real quick. This is just me retrieving the fish. It went under this rock here. I just grab the spear, grab the line on the other end, and then I pull both out at the same time, and there he is. It's a good size one. I'd say probably 3 or 4 pounds. Pretty big nenue. So yeah, I retrieve it, and I try to kill it as quickly as possible. And once I dispatch it, then I'm free to do what I want with my gun, because he's done for. He's not gonna cause any more trouble, tangle up my lines. So I go to get my gun out. I just go down to the rock that I was waiting under, and because my tagline is carried with the gun underneath the rock, I unclip my tagline and then pull the tagline out from underneath the rock on one side, then pull my gun out from the other side, and then once I get to the surface I can just clip them back together. So this was a pretty big nenue, a good size one. It was actually a lot bigger than I thought it was. When I first took the shot, I wasn't looking for anything too big, but this guy will do good. He'll make a lot of poke. So I just real easy fish to shoot, real simple. Like I said, if you hide, they will come to you. They're really curious fish, especially if they're in big schools like that. They'll come up to you real fast, and if you're in the mood for some poke, just pick one off. So that's what I did here, and I'll show you guys how to cook it or prepare it poke style. Okay, so for nenue, I usually make poke out of it because I don't really know any other good way to prepare this fish that tastes good. So for poke, I need to eventually cut the fish into little chunks, and in order to do that, I have to make sure the fish is boneless first, because someone's going to be chewing on, these little pieces of meat, and they're going to get stabbed in the mouth with bones if you don't cut them out. So the bones, I already cut out. If you notice, while I was filleting the fish, I didn't take the rib meat, the meat on the ribs of the fish, because eventually I just have to cut that off anyway, because I can't use that. There's too many bones in it. So most of it is off. I have to trim it a little bit, but in the middle of the fish, there's these things called pin bones, and it's just a line of bones that goes down the middle of the fillet. It's just this red line here. So what I do to get rid of the pin bones, especially if I'm making poke where I have to cut the fish into little pieces eventually anyway, I go on one side of the pin bones and I just cut along it, and I cut straight through the fish so that I cut off a chunk like this. And then once that's off, I go on the other side of the pin bones and I go along that And now I have the 2 chunks of meat that are now boneless. You can feel around and check. I think I got them all. Yep. Oh, missed some over here, but I can cut those out. And then I have ideally you'll have the column of pin bones that you can just throw away or eat if you want, I guess. And then the 2 boneless fillets here. And then if you mess up, just cut what you missed. And there we go, that's better. So now I can cut these 2 fillets into chunks to make poke. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the other fillet. Okay, so to season or to make your poke, I have the fish chunks here. And then I have 4 ingredients. So the first one is just sesame oil, and then salt, and Japanese chili pepper, togarashi, and then shoyu. So for the sauces, you're just gonna wanna put it on the fish so that it coats the meat, but not enough so that it pools at the bottom, because you don't want to put too much. And most of the seasoning is mostly to your taste, so you just put a little and then adjust to how you like your poke. So I'll just show you guys me seasoning it and how to mix it and stuff like that, and then I'll show you guys the finished product. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like videos like this, if you like this series that I'm doing, please let me know down in the comments, and let me know any fish you guys want to learn how to shoot and cook. I'll be sure to try and go after them in my next dive. Remember the 300 sub video? I'm going to get to that soon. I have something really cool planned. I'm really excited about it. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to it, but it's coming soon, I promise. I just have to get it done. It's still in the works right now. I'm planning it out, but it's coming soon, and it's by one of your guys' recommendations. So I hope you guys enjoy it when it comes out. But continue to leave your thoughts on what I should do. I'll maybe try and add it into what I already have planned. But yeah, so stay tuned for that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.